at one point up to like 9 different bands in Manhattan, or bands and sideman gigs, stuff like that. And that's how I made a living for a while. And then I got my first real tour, 1988. Big Italian Spanish artist, Miguel Bosé, and we played massive places, massive gigs, and I stupidly spent 12 grand on a guitar rig at the time. I think Leon knows that because we both love delays, and I bought my first 2290 then, and it was $2,800 for a delay, just a delay, you know.
And we worked out on Sunday just gone that translates to about like $7,000 in today's money. I mean, it's a great unit, but you know, that's a lot of money. Can you, because this is the Gear Podcast, can you talk us through maybe tell me what you were using before you got that first big tour when you were clearly working like a maniac, and then what you spent the 12 grand on at the time?
Well, I my first effect was a Big Muff, which I didn't understand what it was, but that's what I could afford. I bought a Big Muff, and it's like it made no sense, so put it away after a while. The second effect I got was an Ibanez purple analog delay pedal, and I loved the delay. And then I got a Boss Octaver, and then when I was right out of high school, I was in a Rush tribute band, so I had a pedal board of 10 pedals, 11 and 10 pedals. So 10 pedals for I think it was clean for 10 pedals and 11 for lead, or it might have been reversed, I don't remember. But I had an AB box between the two pedal boards. Right. And then I remember being in Manhattan, and the Ibanez rack unit came out when it had presets. And a couple of other ADA had come out with some stuff, not the MP1, but some other stuff. And all of a sudden it's like, wow, I can have everything. But I could change one button, hit one button with MIDI and change everything. And that was like, so I remember getting that, saving up, selling pedals, getting that. And then I remember a multi-effect came out, and I don't remember what it was. Oh, it was the SPX 90.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
And then they had the Rex 50s, and I was trying to save that up. And I was rehearsing in a rehearsal studio, and the band that was after me came in, and 2 guitar players heard what I was doing. And they're like, oh, this is great. I want to do the same thing. And I said, this whole rig is for sale. So the 2 of them bought my rig. And I was able to go get step up. And it was also because that rig was in eight rack spaces, and walking around Manhattan with an 8-space rack was really hard. It's not a place you throw. It was like buses, subways, and walking.
Yeah, I was going to say, so no cars at all? No cars at all?
I didn't start driving until I was 36. And when I had the big rig, I had to hire someone every time I needed to move it.
Right.
But I had my sights. I had done the Chicago Summer NAMM show with my friend Pierre de Beauport. He works for the Stones, and he's a great guitar player, but he's been working for the Stones since the 80s. And he was hired to demo at the TC Electronics booth, and 2290. So me, him, and my friend Ira were like just staring at this thing. And so I started playing it, and Ira started playing it. And they asked us to demo, so we kind of would demo that. And I was like, I got to get one of these once if I ever get the money. And when I got picked for that tour, I had my sights set on a 16-space shock mount rack. I knew exactly what I wanted to get.
Yeah.
16-space shock mount rack, a Mesa Boogie quad preamp, because the quad came out before the studio preamp. 45 pounds of quad preamp. And I wanted the Mesa Boogie power amp, but that was going to eat into the budget too much, and also that weighed more than 45 pounds, if I'm not mistaken. Right. So I ended up getting a QSC power amp. And the first purchase was to Mark Drunch, who started DR Strings. Oh. He was just the distributor for Guild Guitars, TC Electronics, and something else. And I remember taking the bus out to Little Ferry, New Jersey, and in his kitchen, I gave him the money, cash, and I bought a 2290 and took it back on the bus.
Wow.
Yeah, it was crazy, really crazy. So I had already had the TC chorus pedal, the little chorus flange pedal. So you know what what I really wish they had done with the TC 2290 pedal was make the 5 loops, because the 2290 has 5 effects loops that you can program to be on per preset. And with the right pedal, the pedal that came with it, you can turn them on and off individually.
Because that's why
right. It was also a switching system.
Yeah, that's why Bradshaw was using
it. Was a switching, right? Which was great. It was only the last loop was stereo, but the rest were mono, and because the delay is in the 2290 is really mono. It's a weird mono.
Yeah, mono like phase reversed. Is that right? Or polarity
phase reversed? Yeah, which I didn't understand until I was making my first record. I mean, people kept saying that, but I was like, yeah, what does that mean? What does that mean? And then the producer came in and he goes, yeah, your rig's out of phase. I'm like, what do you mean it's out of phase? And he showed me. I was like, oh. He goes, yeah, all right. And so, looked at the manual, and it was phase, anti-phase, as TC called it.
Yeah. So I had a preset. I used to have a preset on my AX8, which, because, Leon and Leon's my tech support with Fractal stuff. And I said to him, oh man, I did this gig and I've got this like TC delay on there and like it's just not working. Like nothing's coming out. He's like, man, you can't run it in mono. Like it's just going to disappear. I'm like, what do you mean? And then there you go.
Yeah. Yep.
So it gets you. But
I actually have a preset that when I talk to sound guys and I go, I need it to be fully stereo and wide. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I'll put that on. They go, it's not stereo. He goes, what do you mean? It's not stereo. He goes, what? Am I paying? I don't know why it's so hard to understand. It's like, you can plug me into 2 channels. Just pan it.
Yeah.
Pan it.
There's a lot of sound guys that are real weird about stereo PAs. It's a real problem.
Yeah.
I've had arguments with people about it. They just
there's one argument that I shoot down is so the way my rig works, it's in almost dual mono most of the time.
Mm-hmm.
There's a little bit of delays leaking out of the side that's slightly different, but it's almost dual mono. But on intros and bridges, I want it to be super wide.
Mm-hmm.
So I have stuff that's like crazy, but you can't play full rhythms with that crazy sound because it's just too much weird stuff going on. But when I do want it to be wide, like intros and bridges, anytime the motion stops, I love Peter Gabriel. I love like you're chugging along, and all of a sudden it's just like, whoa, everything slows down, and it gets wide. I don't care that the person on the left side of the audience can't hear exactly what's coming out on the right side. I want their heads to snap. Like, what's that? Is there another guitar player?
Yeah.
Like Leon, I used to play in trios all the time, and my band now is usually a trio. But ever since I was playing in the Rush tribute band, playing Rush and Zebra and the Police and stuff like that, I've always been into trios and trying to figure out how to fill that up. So I like that as different things, but I understand, like, with the bulk of the song, it needs to be there or this or that, stuff like that. So a lot of times, if I'm doing something and there's 2 guitar players, I'll sit down, if it's a tour or short tour or something like that, sit down with the sound guy and make sure that like we're both not too like this and we're both not like that. A lot of times we do a little bit of that.
Mm-hmm.
So that just moving something just a little bit to the left or right clears space for the vocals and it clears space for you can distinguish the 2 guitars and stuff
absolutely.
like that. But I do like stereo. I've been playing in stereo since 1988, actually. And most of the time I run into problems with people accepting stereo. It's been in the United States. I rarely run into that unless I'm playing a very small venue and a small PA in Europe. And I don't think I've run into that here unless it's been unless it's been a really, really small PA. I haven't run into that in Australia.
Oh, that's good.
But yeah, though, the way you've got your rig designed is, when we were doing the workshop, you sort of talk through that approach to intros and bridges being wide, and you sort of see people go like, "What do you?" I think someone actually asked, "What do you mean wide?" And then you did it, and panning delays and stereo tremolo and crystals and stuff, and you could just see everyone go like, and then when the song kind of hits, everything just kind of snaps back, and you've got that, hammer to the anvil focus. Yeah, it's a good way of saying it.